Welcome back to the Remedial Film Class Podcast. I'm your host, Dan.
And I'm Travis.
And I'm George.
Hey, George, can you do me a favor?
Sure.
Can you remake one of the best horror movies of all time, but make it almost as good?
Can I call it the Blair Meat Project?
No, I was hoping we would call this one Sepsis, the movie.
Sepsis, the movie, yeah. Yeah, definitely some infections going on in this pool fest.
Guys, we watched the 2003 version of Texas Chain Saw Massacre, not to be confused with the 2021 or 2, whatever they credited as, Texas Chain Saw Massacre, or Texas Chainsaw, or Texas Chainsaw 3D, which might be different. I don't remember.
Right. I think they should have stopped at this one.
This is the last one we needed.
Finding the right Texas Chainsaw to watch tonight, the correct one, was a chore. I was like, do I even want to do this podcast anymore? I can't even find the movie. There's 17 Texas Chainsaws to choose from.
And they're not all denoted as sequels. A lot of them pretend like they're the only one.
Yeah. And what's funny is I'm scrolling through and I'm sure that half of these are garbage.
More than half.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely more than half.
All but 2.
Yeah, 2 are good. The rest suck.
I kind of like the new one, but I know I'm in the minority.
I haven't seen it yet, so I can't give my opinion.
Oh yeah,
I haven't seen anything, so
next week we'll not be watching that. We won't be. Don't worry. I don't want to.
I've had enough screaming for about a month, I think.
I don't want to get canceled. And you see, if you've seen the movie, you're laughing right now, and if you haven't, you're not. So,
is it a movie or is it a series?
It's a movie, and it's a direct to Netflix movie, and it brings back the girl from the first one. Yeah, which is neat. And then the rest of it is questionable. Yeah, it's Halloween 2018.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
With chainsaws.
Gravy.
Hey, but guys, John Larroquette is back doing the narration at the beginning. He did the narration on actually a lot of these, but the first one in particular, and this one. Mm-hmm. So, George, the movie starts out, Texas Chainsaw 2003, and it looks grimy and black and white and found footage. Yeah, we're in the post-Blair Witch era. Yeah. Mm-hmm. How are you feeling at that point? Are you like, oh yeah, the movie I love? Or are you like, they're trying too hard? What are you feeling?
Well, they hit with the sound right away.
Well,
the photo sound.
It's been a minute since I saw the original.
Yeah. Go back and
the
watch
original doesn't start like that, does it?
No, okay, but it has the same narrator.
Okay, same narrator, but when I saw the cop explaining the crime scene,
they're basically connecting.
I was like, okay, this is way different, I think.
Yeah. They kind of made it feel like this is a continuation of the original, but then they quickly let you know this is 1973. This is the telling of that story, basically.
Can we redo this movie, but with the entire cast from that 70s show?
That's possible.
That would be a good movie.
I don't know that I'm ready to see my good friends from that 70s show getting chopped up into little bits. Although I'm sure the public would not mind one of the members being, but never mind.
Who would Topher Grace play?
I would eat it up.
Would he be Milton?
Yeah, like Red Foreman could be the sheriff.
The sheriff, yeah.
Oh my god, yeah. Kurtwood Smith. I mean, he could.
After we're done doing butt work,
guns.
Yeah. Lee Ermey. I don't know if you could replace him though. He was so good.
Who's the character on that 70s show that nobody likes anymore?
The actor that played Hyde has been officially canceled, signed and sealed.
Oh.
He doesn't get to work anymore.
News to me.
Yeah, I know that.
I'm not on Twitter. So.
Womp.
Womp womp. But hey, so 2003, you're smack dab in the middle of this transition from 90s teen slashers to found footage and The Ring and torture porn. So this movie is kind of your bridge that gets you from The Ring to Saw quite a bit.
Yes.
If you notice, there's a lot of Ring video kind of vibes, especially the evidence montage. At the beginning, it's just
so much better than Saw.
Straight out of the Ring video, though.
Yes.
Aesthetically. And then, it's got all the fingernail break-in, people, camera focused on the pain that you get in Saw.
Fingernail breaking.
Fingers fucking pinned to cushions and stuff.
The practical effects in this movie it looks like they actually dug up real bodies and put them on the table.
Well, and the lighting helps
actually,
with that
they
a
did.
lot. Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Like the box full of fingers, and the like the jar of eyeballs, and like I'm just like this is like this is like Brundlefly's medicine cabinet times a million.
Like, this is how much better this movie was than Saw. When the guy's leg got cut off, you got to see it.
Mm. And he acted.
And he acted.
Yeah.
Hey.
Or he played it. He didn't really act it. Like you felt like these people were actually really getting killed.
And the camera did not pull away. I mean, that was a clean kind of cut. But yeah,
well,
I mean, a lot in common
early.
with Saw, right? A dude loses his leg, lots of captivity, lots of torture, lots of chains. Just better execution overall.
The woman on the road, when she kills herself, like, you know what you're in for, because you're thinking, this is a remake. She's gonna cut her hand. She's gonna put her handprint on the van. Like,
yeah, she's part of the family. All these.
Yeah,
things.
they're doing like a gender switch, and it's the hitcher. It's just a girl this time. But no, she pulls the gun out of her. Hoo-ah. Can you say that? I don't know. Pulls it out of that. That's what she was holding it in, and she blows her head off, and the camera starts on the kids' faces. Well, they're not really kids. The young adults' faces, and the camera pulls through the gunshot wound out the window, and then does like a full
from the exit wound side.
Yeah, and then as it exits the back of her head, the head flops back. Like, it was. You're just like, oh, it's gonna be one of those.
Well, and it's a real, like, you know, seeing someone through a head wound has been done before. You know, Quick and the Dead does a real famous one. But nothing more Michael Bay than pulling through the head and like that spin of the camera. I mean, dudes.
He didn't direct it though. So
yeah, but his fingerprints are all over it, which is fine because he's a good action filmmaker, and he brought a little spark to a remake that, you know, without his touch wouldn't be as great.
I think this is more the director, though. I mean, I know Michael Bay was involved. I know he was a producer, but seeing the examples of this director,
you think that was the director?
What?
That camera angle, scene, all that stuff.
Yeah, if you see the guy's music videos, you would see that this guy was innovative, and this is the guy that directed the Friday the 13th remake as well. So
I was just thinking, like, you know, maybe the director had a vision or whatever, but like that actually gets done by, like, you know, people who know what they're doing on computers and stuff.
But it's not CGI, so
it wasn't.
No,
camera shot through a hole in someone's head. Wasn't
that was practical as far as I know.
Or at least a composite of practical and
composite.
CGI.
That's what I figured.
But if we ever watch, which I hope we do,
it's a single shot.
Bad Boys 2, I want you to think about that shot when you see most of the violence in Bad Boys 2, which is purely a Michael Bay movie, and you'll see like, okay, yeah.
Oh, believe me, I know what you're saying, but I'm saying that the director of this movie, who has shown in movies we've watched that he's innovative and definitely is willing to do the thing. Like with Friday the 13th remake, he did a lot of really cool, like, Shining type things with the camera.
A lot of really good handheld work in the Friday remake
handheld
too.
work. So it's like they were doing that in this, and this was his first movie. So you're making a face. Why are you making a face?
I'm just trying to process everything. I just got the handheld joke.
Yeah, we didn't tell you ahead of time that this was the same guy as the Friday remake, so.
Yeah, I'm processing some things. All right, yeah. Handheld.
So you've got the Ring. You've got the underpinnings of what will become Saw and Hostel kind of, you know, coming together here. You've also got Blair Witch Project, Paranormal Activity, that kind of found footage kind of feel at the beginning. Plus, you have a shot that is taken directly from Friday the 13th Part 4, the final chapter, which is the watering hole where they're swinging into the water at the very beginning before the road trip starts.
Yep.
That is like the same camera angle and shot. If you told me it was the same watering hole, I would almost believe you, except I don't think this was shot anywhere near California. But otherwise, very inspired, kind of familiar feel for all of us.
Yeah, this movie definitely hits on a lot of nostalgia from the 70s movies, even with Chainsaw. Like, it does a lot of retelling of original iconic shots. But I think the original did them better. Like the whole mallet to the head, the introduction of Leatherface.
Oh my god, so much less good in this than in the original.
Yeah, because the reveal was better. This obviously was more brutal, but the effect was way more effective in the original. Just that introduction when he slams the door.
Yeah, the blocking in the original is so much scarier.
Yeah. The wide angle.
I don't know. I think the entire character Leatherface was better in the original.
The original, yes, that was one of my notes.
Yeah, it was just the original was like just
because they spent time with him
so well.
Everything that made that character Gunnar Hansen was doing, like all the stuff we talked about.
Yeah,
the first kill, the second kill, by the third kill, he's like, "What the fuck?"
He's like,
looking out the window. He's like, "Where are these people coming from?" Very
kind of,
very adolescent.
Mm-hmm.
This, they concentrated more on the crazy family and not so much on Bubba.
Yeah, and he was kind of like, in this movie, Leatherface was just kind of like the muscle.
Yeah, and he was like a dad tinkering in the basement with his HO scale trains. Like it was almost like too normal. Like the Leatherface in the original, I liked how what he was doing, he almost didn't believe he was doing it, and then couldn't believe he was doing it, and then was almost like, what is going on? Where are all these people coming from? And then the dad comes home and he's trying to, like, almost like a dog after it shits on the rug. He's like coming up to him and he's like almost like trying to pal up to the
how did this movie not have a dinner scene?
I think they wanted to avoid it because it was so iconic.
I will say that was a huge controversy at the time.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you give all this time to R. Lee, who steals the show. I mean, they let him steal the show in this movie, R. Lee Ermey, but was it worth losing the dinner scene? Movie flows pretty well. There's a couple of parts where it drags, but you're able to keep more characters alive by having no dinner scene. Because by the end of the original, you've isolated to one survivor girl and you give her an extended amount of time.
Yes.
Which, it doesn't fit the formula of later slashers. So in a way, they're like taking the later formula and trying to reapply it. I mean, it's interesting.
I think they were trying to avoid it, kind of like we talked about with A Few Good Men. Like, there's those iconic things in a movie that the viewer's only going to hear Nicholson say it.
Yeah, or the way that HBO show about Rome totally just avoided the whole
exactly
speech.
Yeah, and I think that dinner scene is so. It's kind of like with the remake of Friday the 13th, where they avoided the whole mom's head on the table with candles. They just kind of put her head in the wall, and it was like, okay, this is more Jason-esque. Why would he have a display over his mother's head? He would hide it in the wall like a 5-year-old. So I was fine with that decision because they still gave me his homage to his mother, but they did it in a different way to where you couldn't really compare it to the part 2.
Now, they did make a prequel to this movie. It was like the sequel, the prequel, both. 2006's Texas Chain Saw Massacre, the beginning, which did have a dinner scene. And if you've seen that, which most people probably haven't seen that, because why would you? You know right away that the dinner scene doesn't work in the sequel prequel thing. So maybe it is for the better they didn't even try here. It might elevate this movie by not even trying the dinner scene.
I'll tell you what it does. It makes me want to watch the original.
Yeah, 100%.
And I don't know if that's a compliment or a diss, but not having a dinner scene makes me want to just pop in the original and watch a dinner scene.
Right. Well, for me, I look at this not as it is a remake, but it's more. they're not trying to be the original. They're just trying to retell the story for a new generation that might not sit down and watch the original.
But not with the characters from that 70s show, which was a huge...
That was a huge mistake.
A huge miss. But
although I like Jessica Biel better than the girl from that 70s show.
You do?
So, yeah.
Okay.
Well, you talking about Kunis or the other one?
The other one.
Yeah, I like Biel better than the other one.
The redhead.
The redhead.
I don't know her name.
Laura Prepon.
Sue me.
And where would you kill Handy Manny?
On the meat hook.
Nice. Nah, that's a tip for Grace. I'd put him on, or I put Ashton Kutcher on there. On the
Who
meat
got
hook.
Who got it in the original?
The meat hook was the girl, the first girl that went in the house.
Yeah. Mila goes on the meat hook, 100%.
Okay, I'll take it. Although she's too short to put her feet on the piano, I think. To lower that hook.
That would be fine because it would be like, yeah.
But that was
the people who know would know and be like, oh, she's too short to reach a piano. That's funny.
Yeah.
So we talked about Leatherface being more one-dimensional. I don't know if we ever use that term, but that's one way to describe what they do in this movie.
Yeah, I agree.
Here's the thing I don't understand or love. They remove any semblance of femininity from the Leatherface character, which just further distances it from the Ed Gein Psycho through Texas through Silence of the Lambs line that we had. So it's it just turns him into Jason, right? Like this is just Jason.
Yeah, very much.
Jason with his family alive.
And they could have done it when they show him turn and look at her and he's got like someone else's face on him, not the Leatherface, but he's got like the
boyfriend's face.
The boyfriend's face, which didn't look enough like him to really
hit you.
Yeah, it should have been. I wish they would have deep faked it, but that didn't exist.
Well, when he's sewing that mask, I mean, it's clearly that dude's face.
Yeah, yes, but I mean, for her, when I looked at it, I was like, can she even tell that that's her boyfriend?
She knows
it
those lips,
so
man.
weird.
What's up?
Yeah, what up? But that would have been the moment that maybe he should have been wearing a girl's face.
I don't remember. Did they ever pay off the engagement ring?
Mm-mm.
No. Nope.
So that's just for you, the viewer, to know.
Yeah. It's like the pregnancy in Friday 3, right? Once mentioned, never mentioned again.
Yeah.
And where's Steve?
Yeah, and where's
Paul?
Paul?
Where's Paul?
Where's Paul?
For once, there's a baby in a movie
that has a purpose.
That isn't just there to be saved because it's helpless.
I mean, that's all that happens. It gets saved and it's helpless. But you're right. It's never put into peril. They never threaten the baby for you to have a moment.
That was actually a shocking...
Straight up steals that baby.
Oh, and there's the kid. Like, they didn't, drag that out. Like, she had to do a Sigourney Weaver and look for the kid for 10 minutes. Like,
right.
It was just like, and this is what
I'm glad they didn't do that. How about the little boy with the
bad teeth?
The teeth from Spirit Halloween?
Oh, you mean the literal kid from the movie The Ring, but with Spirit Halloween teeth in?
That was the kid.
That's the same kid.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, same actor.
Wow.
Yeah.
He was typecasted.
Hey, I guess the
cheap.
I guess the teeth worked then. Take it back.
Yeah.
Cheap Macaulay Culkin. Walmart version of Macaulay Culkin.
No, I thought it was interesting and pretty gutsy for a movie that's only it's like an hour 40 or something. The Hitchhiker part is a full 20 minutes of the movie. I mean, really the first 20 minutes I labeled it Weekend at Bonnie's because she's dead most of the time, but she's bouncing around the back seat.
She's literally back there, like they're running down this dirt road driving, and she's like jiggling back there.
Yeah, it's so gross.
It was a great touch.
I think they did that because they were avoiding doing the dinner scene.
Yeah, I mean that's why you get Arlie Ermy and you get Weekend at Bonnie's, and that's why you don't get a dinner scene. And in the end, earlier today watching the movie again, I thought, man, I do miss the dinner scene. But now that I remember how crappy it was when they finally did it in this universe, that it's worth it. I'm glad they didn't try. Just leave that for me on the old one. But The way that when they're carrying the body covered in saran wrap and her head is just flinging back and forth. Oh my God, it's so gross. This whole movie is disgusting.
That scene when he grabs the saran wrap and he's like, just pick her head up. And he just starts saran wrap on her head and then he grabs her boob. I'm like,
yeah, he used to love saran wrapping bodies as a
I'm
rookie.
like, this is disgusting. But it definitely established him. They weren't pulling any punches on him. Like in the original, the barbecue guy at the gas station, it was a bit of a twist.
You're not supposed to know
surprised.
For sure he's a bad guy right away.
But this guy, the moment he shows up, you're like, yeah.
Yeah. Also, did I see? It's been so long since I saw the original that there were some things in this version that I thought were, let's say, over the top, maybe.
Yeah,
a little bit
2000s.
Maybe a little bit exaggerated.
Like what?
Like, why are there like rotting pig heads in the convenience store?
Well, there was some nasty meat in
Texas.
The original.
Was it
and
like
it's like in
nasty,
the smoker
nasty?
In the back, like it's hanging in a smoker, and it looks like unclear as to whether it's human or pig, which you're not supposed to think about until later in the movie, and then realize, oh my God, that could be human meat in that smoker.
Yeah, but
it's
this
a butcher
one,
shop, so it's
but there was like rotting and had flies.
It looked
on
like
it
the counter from a Subway, just stuffed with pig heads. It didn't look like a proper butcher's cabinet or
I don't think
deli
anything was
cabinet or
proper in
anything.
that town.
I don't like the way they portrayed Texans in this movie.
Did they portray any actual Texans in this movie, or is it just that one family all over?
It was very.
It was more backwoods, like West Virginia, like Appalachian
listen,
type
guys,
stuff.
I'm not serious. I'm just.
Okay, I was gonna say
I'm bullshitting.
It was like Hills Have Eyes type
I think
shit.
that if I were from Texas,
You'd be offended.
I think so.
I think there's some parts of Texas that we're watching and going, I know that guy.
Wow.
Well, you
You're
certainly
canceled.
wouldn't want to mess with this version of Texas.
No, I would not. They were 2 hours from Dallas.
Oh, can we talk? Okay, so Texas. I don't know why I just thought to bring this up. The scene with the gun. You guys know what scene I'm talking about?
The scene?
The scene.
There's a couple of scenes with the gun.
That's the scene that should have been in Saw.
The scene.
The Ernie
when
in the van.
The sheriff, I don't know any of the names, by the way. When the sheriff tells
the kid to shoot him.
The geeky dude.
Yeah.
To show him how she did it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right. Okay.
And he finally gets up the balls.
Pull that trigger.
To pull the trigger, and there's very, very well done.
Yes. When I was watching, I was like, we're going to talk about this because it's exactly what we were saying during Saw, where they should have done that.
This is so much better than Saw.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
But yet so many of the elements of Saw are already here and just better than what they make in Saw, which is interesting.
I know,
Saw to
which
be the
is
second
weird.
Film.
Better director. It's
which
a better
is weird.
Director.
That gun, guns of that type are my shit.
Yeah.
I like old guns. I like 6-shooters, revolvers, whatever. And I was so engrossed in that scene that I wasn't even like looking in the chambers.
Could you taste the gunmetal? You were so into it.
Yes.
You know what I loved about that scene?
And when he pulled the trigger and it didn't, I was like, oh, they got me, those motherfuckers. They got me. I shouldn't have got by that.
Now here's the question.
But they did.
When the sheriff took the gun from the dead girl and put it in his sock holster.
Oh, don't forget, he did something before he put it in his sock holster.
Did he lick it or smell it?
He smelled it. He sniffed it real good and just made me go, ugh.
Right. So, is that the same gun he hands to the kid in the back of the van?
I'm not sure.
Because I'm wondering, did he unload it? Or did he take the chance that the kid wouldn't shoot him?
He checks it before he puts it in his boot.
Okay.
He looks at it and spins it.
So then he's aware. So that makes that scene good for him. He's just fucking around. But the other kid finally the Milton, I guess his name is, or
the kid who should be in a wheelchair,
Mason?
but he's not.
Yeah,
But he's
Well,
way
I
less
guess
annoying than that character from the first one.
he is way less
so.
annoying. Yes.
Still annoying
though.
but not
What
less.
what I love about that scene and what he does as an actor, when he does not sit dead center, and he sees the blood spot and the pile of teeth that he doesn't want to sit on, and then he brushes it away so he can slide over.
Mm-hmm.
When he slides over, the quivering of his lip, like that actor made me think that he might think he's going to die in the scene.
Yeah,
Like, he was very good, and I kept thinking this is exactly what Saul needed to give you that push to feel that sense of urgency in that scene. Because that bathroom scene, I never felt a sense of urgency at all, and I was supposed to.
Yeah.
This movie gives me that about 9 times.
Yeah. Another thing, I don't know, man. I see a little bit too much chainsaw in this movie.
What? I've
a
always
little bit
heard
too much.
complaints that there's still not enough chainsaw.
It's a little
That there's
too
not
much
really
chainsaw.
There's
a
more in the original.
massacre involving the chainsaw. It's more of like a couple of murders involving a chainsaw.
Again,
Well, he does cut that guy in
Again,
half
I'm
at
bullshitting.
the end.
He
I'm
does
bullshitting.
right in the
You're
right
getting-
in the dick and balls.
right in the-
just
You're getting-
Right in the taint.
you're getting exactly what you pay for
Yeah.
here. No, there's one shot when Leatherface goes for Jessica Biel, and he kind of hits the concrete, I guess, or metal underneath of her, but it's right next to her crotch,
Yes.
and it happens so fast that you're not sure if she's wearing a chastity belt or something, you know?
It's like Men in Tights.
And I was like, what? Wait, oh, okay.
Okay, hit the floor.
Maybe it was the floor. I'm not sure. She might have been wearing a chastity belt.
That's funny.
She was waiting for that princess cut.
I never got that impression, but okay.
It happens really fast, and I was like, oh, he's got that's what they were obviously, he's gonna swing it down, it's gonna hit her right between the legs, and it misses her. But for a second, you think,
I didn't like that they made a choice to avoid the original chase
mm-hmm.
from the original movie is very long, where he's chasing her through the woods, he's zigzagging in and out. They kind of recreate that shot a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But then she ends up at the gas station. Like that running from him was 20 minutes long in the original. Exaggerated. This one, it's like they didn't want to do that because they didn't want to be too close to the original, so they avoided it. And I think that's what made them put the slaughterhouse stuff at the end. Which
I was going to say, I kind of feel like the chase was the same amount of time, but it
just didn't feel as tense. Like the original, there's a couple shots where he is right on top of her and running full speed to the point where I know the filmmakers told him to slow down because he kept catching her. And just the grandness of his body behind hers and the shot from the front while she's running completely terrified, and he's just gaining on her and filling the screen with his ginormous body while looks like she's getting smaller. That was all tension that this movie was missing. They never really did any of those shots. They were more reliant on the little close-ups of Leatherface and the searching through the lockers. Very, like you said, very Jason, very Michael Myers.
Yeah, real Halloween vibes when she's hiding in the closet or the locker or whatever, and we have the visible slats that we're seeing her through. Feels very much like Jamie Lee in the closet.
Yeah, you weren't getting the Bubba feel. Like the original movie has a lot of Bubba feel. Like this Hills Have Eyes type guy chasing you to the point where he's not stopping until you are dismembered.
Until you are at his dinner table.
Yes. And I didn't feel that with I like Andrew. He's the guy who played Leatherface. I like his version. Visually, he's menacing.
He's got no nose, man.
He has no nose. But I mean, the mask. I always had a problem with the stylized mask, but watching it today, it didn't bother me as much. I kind of like the mask more now than back then. When it first came out, I was like, yeah, it just looks like an over-Hollywooded version of Leatherface. The mask in the original looked like they built it out of human skin, and it wasn't contoured. It didn't look like it was sculpted and then molded and then made out of latex, like how they make masks. it just looked like they put it on him, and how it fit him is how it fit him. This looked like it was designed to fit his face, and I felt that was over stylized.
And when they were in the slaughterhouse, did you get some road game vibes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely did.
Predator 2?
Rocky, right? Dun,
Rocky?
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah. I definitely did when she was kind of hiding behind the one carcass, and he pushed the whole rack.
She was that's called tauntaunting, right?
I don't know.
From
Tauntaunting?
Yeah, isn't it?
Oh, when they put him inside the body?
Yeah, she was trying to tauntaun it.
She was like making a turducken.
Trying to stay warm. Yeah.
Yeah, turducken.
And you know, if Troy was on the show right now, we'd probably both be talking about Cry of the Prostitute from 1972, but he's not here, so we won't.
But thank God he's not here. No, just playing. I'm just kidding. We love Troy.
Crotch Travis is talking right now. My microphone keeps
falling. Yeah, Crotch Travis better get his stuff together, or I'll send Gunnery Sergeant Sheriff Hartman.
Let me see your war face.
He was great in a lot of movies, but he was just Gunnery Sergeant Hartman.
Doesn't scare me.
Again.
Work on it.
Yeah. But a 7 connection for those of us looking to connect this season all together into one tapestry.
This isn't even my desk.
Best line in 7. Forget your what's in the box. It's this is not even my desk.
This is not even my desk.
Ching. This isn't even my desk. Ching.
That is a great line. I didn't know they stacked shit that high. That was always my favorite line from him. But yeah, this is not even my desk.
I thought it was interesting in Texas, 2003, the movie we're talking about tonight, that you get that part where I think it's Andy, the character who's on the meat hook, and he's like full arms out, like Robocop pose. And it's almost Easter, so I was feeling Robocop-y while watching it. But then he gets stabbed by Jessica Biel, and you get a very prototypical version of what Mel Gibson will do the next year in Passion with the Roman soldier and like the fountain of redeeming blood or whatever.
Well, I do have to say that description did come first, before Mel Gibson.
Well, I was going to say, this happened once before.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you're
I'm
aware
just
of
saying
it,
they both pull from the same source, right? Which is Robocop.
Yes.
Right? Isn't that how, this and Passion both pull from Robocop? Do I have that right? I might be a little mixed up.
Yeah,
sure. There might be a missing gospel there. But yeah.
They'll fix you. They
the
fix
Book of
everything.
Murphy.
Yeah. My God, when he was on the meat hook, I was like, all that whole,
I was waiting for her to kiss his feet. Like, it was a Mary Magdalene moment.
I'm like,
I was just
seriously, he's got his
here?
arms outstretched and he's dying, and she's gonna like put a spear through his side, and like blood and water's gonna flow out of it.
I don't even know if the director was thinking that.
No, okay.
Oh my God,
Travis,
it
was so obvious. No, it was obvious.
Travis, how many times did he fall on the meat hook?
Three
times.
3 times. Happy Easter, everybody.
Travis, 3 times.
Jesus didn't fall on the cross. He fell before.
Well, they had to change a few things. They couldn't make it an exact.
Well, I saw the deleted
frame
scenes, and he does say "I thirst" while he's up there.
I'm sure that was part of it.
When Jessica Biel walked in that tank top, he definitely thirsted.
Yeah, he's like,
oof, oof.
Oh no.
What's funny about her is she did not look that great in the beginning. She looked kind of sweaty and dirty. She actually got better looking throughout the movie. I'm just like, wow, she looks good. I was shocked to find out that this was his first movie, though, the director.
Yeah, he's really polished. I mean, it really helps to have Michael Bay behind
him.
But
hold on.
A little poltergeist.
I've seen some interviews with him. He directed over 250 music videos. He came from advertising. He's been doing this a long time.
Who is this now?
The director. There's not much.
What's his name again?
Marcus Nispel.
Marcus Mispel, yeah.
And who's the guy who didn't direct it, but we keep
Michael
referring
Bay. He's one of the producers. Did you know, Dan, that the original creators of the original movie were producers as well? and they wrote a script that was used to write the script. So I guess they wrote the original script.
The rough draft?
The rough draft said in the credits based on screenplay by Kim. Was there? I know it was Tobe Hooper and Kim Henkel.
Now, are they saying that because they used the original screenplay from the first version of this and then tweaked it to create their screenplay, or was a new screenplay written a la
That's a
the
good question.
George Romero remake Night of the Living Dead?
Right. I would have to say let's get to Tobe Hooper on the phone.
Yeah.
And find out.
Yeah, let's get our medium time. I think I've used all my medium call.
Yeah.
What are those old phone cards we have to use? The long distance cards.
The Miss Cleos.
Yeah, my
Miss Cleo
Miss
card?
Cleo card is all out until May, so we're going to have to wait a little bit.
But they were both credited as co-producers as well, so they were involved in this movie. So I don't know if it was their adaptation from the original movie that they picked up and wrote this screenplay, or if they wrote a rough draft and then that was adapted from the rough draft. I'll have to look into that.
So one thing that we haven't talked about enough yet, and I'm trying to get you a name so that I can tell you who the MVP of this movie is.
Kemper?
It's whoever did the lighting. Holy crap. The
well,
lighting
the
design in this
cinematographer-
movie.
It's the original cinematographer from the original as well,
Oh yeah, Daniel Pearl.
Really?
Not that Daniel Pearl.
not the journalist. But I believe Daniel Pearl worked on the original as well.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Although who did their actual because usually you have it might have just been the production designer. Somebody is in there setting up your lights ahead of time. And I don't see
Okay.
a specific credit for it, but whoever did that, be it Michael Bay's guys or the cinematographer's guys, whoever's doing the lights in this movie, holy smokes. Every shot is a painting. A horrifying sepsis-filled painting.
Yes. It reminded me visually a lot like the Batman.
Yeah.
It was a lot like every shot was just like
it's kind of 70.
calendar. Yeah, 7 as well.
Maybe we can't find who did the lighting because nobody did lighting.
Ooh.
Maybe the
Because there
director was involved in that as well.
Because it was all done in a real basement and they didn't use any lights.
No, like the outside
Right.
stuff where you'd have in real life it wouldn't make any sense. Some of those lighting schemes where
Spotlights
you got
in the big house.
yeah. But the shot where 3/4 of your frame from right to center and then a little past is all the house and then outrun the little figures, stuff like that. These were well-designed shots, beautiful shots, well lit.
Yeah.
Phew. And I think
Yeah.
that's why what Travis noted about Jessica Biel's appearance as the movie goes on, some of it is the stuff he's already said, but also as the night hits and the lighting increases, I think it just has a cool look.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
I think when that thought came to my mind was after they decided to pull over and discuss whether they were going to just dump the body.
Oh, the
and leave.
democracy moment. Yeah.
Yeah, where they were all sitting in that shed area talking. She looked damn good there. She had a shower and somebody came in and blew dry her hair. When earlier in the movie she looked like she had been in a 95-degree heat for 8 hours. And I'm just like, why is she the only one that looks like somebody tended to her before that scene?
She probably got all the re-energizing energy from having to deal with that old guy's colostomy bag.
Yeah,
That whole
fun.
scene was so gross. So gross. I'm a germphobe, and so as she's helping picking him up, and he hasn't washed his hands, and they're all over.
Did you notice
that
he grabbed her
bathroom.
ass when she picked him up?
Oh, dude,
Yeah,
it
who didn't?
lingered. You couldn't miss
I
that.
was like, oh,
Who didn't?
ugh.
Ugh.
It was almost worse than Grandpa from the original.
Yeah, no, it was more direct.
Like I said,
than Grandpa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I were a Texan, I would be offended by that.
That scene was overshadowed by the mallet to the head. That I just it bothered me that the way they framed it, it was too predictable. Even though you knew it was coming. And he slammed the door, and the door was just not that heavy metal door. That it just didn't seem as dramatic.
It didn't have any of the
charm,
gravitas that the original had. When it happened, the first kill, I guess you would say, like in the original was like, holy
shit,
fuck.
Yeah. Because
I guess maybe like, because
it was unexpected. It was broad daylight.
Yeah.
There was no reason. Like you're so programmed that this shit's gonna happen at night. You're so programmed that they're gonna get picked off one by one on their ground, not in that house. Like it was so out of the blue. Just you hear the pig going, and all of a sudden it's like mallet to the head.
I had a thought while I was watching this movie, because I wasn't like totally like, I'm not blown away by this movie. Like like it's no Silence of the Lambs.
No.
This version. But I think that I may have watched enough movies
to know it's good.
Stop me if I'm getting ahead of myself. To be nostalgic about the original.
Yeah.
Wow.
I thought that.
You're doing good work.
I thought that, and I said, well, maybe
2 years into this and you're nostalgic?
I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I'm thinking of how this compares to the original, and blah 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 blah, and I'm like, hold on, George, was the original really that good, or are you just nostalgic about it?
As Kevin Smith would say, it is a copy of it is in the National Archives in DC.
So
and Smithsonian.
Yeah, again, I'll say it again. This makes me want to watch the original again.
See, from my perspective, I remember this coming out in the theaters, like, as a fan of the original, who had seen it probably 50 times and was just obsessed with
shit,
it.
You see Texas Chain Saw in every movie we watch. You can pull Texas Chain Saw out of anything.
It's very influential.
You
right.
can.
I can. But what I'm saying is when this movie came out, I remember rolling my eyes when I saw that they were remaking it. Because we were still hanging on the Texas Chainsaw 3, the Saw's Family, like the whole 90s.
The new generation. Bleh.
Yeah, and then the one with Renee Zellweger and McConaughey was horrid. And it was like, this should just die. No more.
Yeah, you get about 5 minutes into the next generation, and you're like, this movie is not right, not right.
It's terrible. But then when the trailer for this came out, for some reason, I felt the same way I felt when Peter Jackson remade King Kong, where I was like, okay, don't touch the original, but if you're going to, tell it in a way that's going to bring a new audience to the old movie. And that's how I felt about Peter Jackson. That's how I felt about this. And then when I saw this in the theater, as angry as I was that they remade it, I understood it, and I saw it as a separate movie, and I liked it for what it was. And I never really compared it, other than the homages, I never compared it to the original. So they're just two separate movies for me. But this is a respectful remake in a world of remakes that suck.
Yeah,
this is definitely this and Friday 13th, which is
hard.
ironically the same director.
It's hard to make a remake,
absolutely,
and it'd be good,
because like you said, there's so much nostalgia.
Yeah,
when it comes with the remaking Psycho is probably the dumbest thing they ever did.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
But if someone who was a good director,
if this guy remade Psycho,
it probably
might be good.
The problem with the remake of Psycho was that they took it too literal. They almost took it the Broadway mentality. Here's source material. Here's a script that we are going to take, and we're just going to remake it frame by frame. Same words, same scenery, same set design, same everything. But it's just not good.
It's like, why?
It doesn't. Why would you do that?
Why do it that way?
But that's the way they do it in theater. It's like, you get revivals, or you get 900 viewings of this play with 13 different casts, and people go see them, and they're like, "Oh, I love this play so much. I've seen it with so many casts. I still love it." Yeah. But then you get somebody who comes in and makes a revival of the show, and you're like, "Oh shit." someone rethought this. They didn't just reshoot it. They sat down and they said, I'm going to do Jesus Christ Superstar, but all the people that are part of, Caiaphas's people are all like leather jacket wearing, stormtroopers. And I'm going to retell this story. The same music, same everything, but I'm going to visually retell it and make it fresh. And that's what a revival is. Sometimes you get a revival, which I would say this is.
I can't get leather jacket wearing stormtroopers out of my head.
It's well done. If you take something that's old and you make it new again by making it great, but without trying to be the original.
What I'm saying is, Travis, imagine a stormtrooper.
No, not stormtroopers like Star Wars.
No. But what I'm saying is, imagine a white armor suit. And then over top of that,
yes, ridiculous,
a motorcycle jacket.
You just have to give him a machine gun, and we could call him the Hellraiser.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow, good callback.
Wow.
Now, think stormtroopers like Nazi stormtrooper.
Whoa.
Not Lucas stormtrooper.
So now all the helmets have like a little patch of
actually
facial hair on them. In a certain spot?
Not those kind of
All
helmets. Right. Stop it.
No, you said Nazi. Nazi with the never mind.
No.
Next example.
In the original Jesus Christ Superstar, it takes place in the desert. It's very hippie-ish, very
So now we're going to do
Aquarius.
It in space.
No, they did it more. It was not space. Just because I said stormtroopers doesn't mean it's space.
I can't get it out of my head, dude.
It sounds like they did Jesus Christ Superstar, but as The Wall, the movie.
Picture all the Pharisees dressed like Morbius from The Matrix.
Yeah,
that kind of stormtrooper.
That's the movie Morbius is from.
Morpheus. Morbius is that horrible Marvel movie that just
Morbius,
came out.
right? The terrible vampire.
Morpheus. Morbius.
Sorry, it's in my head.
Morbius.
Not for a good reason either. Terrible. Not
that we could do any better with all that CGI.
Terrible.
No, Sony should just stop. Anyway. There are more than one kind of stormtrooper. The original term comes from like the Nazi era.
Yeah.
Am I right about that, Dan?
Yeah, think about like your standard like SS officer.
Am I right about that?
I'm talking out my ass.
Leather
Sometimes,
dress uniform is.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know there was. Okay.
Yeah.
I say I learned something today.
And that's why I said it's like The Wall, like all those guys in the Hammer suit.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Only it's Jesus Christ Superstar, not The Wall.
So if someone takes original source material and then does something awesome with it, like
Robocop.
Romeo and Juliet,
like Robocop.
No, because the
thinking
remake of
Robocop.
Robocop sucked.
No, but Robocop itself is an adaptation of another story.
What story?
The Jesus Christ story.
Oh.
But with like robots.
It's so loosely based.
It's loose. But I mean that's
it's just a redemption story, whether it's Jesus or not.
He walks on water,
but he does walk on water.
Dude.
I know he does. But it's loosely based.
And he gets stabbed in the side. But come on,
it's an archetype that
right.
is.
We talked about it at length, so I agree.
Yeah,
that was an influence. But we're talking about actually making this like what Mel Gibson did. He took the story of everybody has watched it in numerous Jesus movies, that 12-hour period.
Mm-hmm.
And then he took the writings of a clairvoyant saint and applied those to the same story that we all know, which made it more vivid and more,
I have to say that movie that you're referring to, The Passion, probably the best Bible movie ever made.
Oh, dude, I don't know about that.
Well, I mean,
that I've seen,
like
and I haven't seen anything. No, I've seen 10 Commandments. It sucks.
What?
Well, visually, as a representation, I know what you're saying. Like,
yeah, I would say
it's definitely a very in your face kind of, as Dan would say, a snuff film version of what the Bible says happened.
So hear me out.
But it does go by the writings.
The Passion is actually a Saw movie.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Based on a true story.
Yeah, actually, I have no complaints about that summation.
Boom.
Yeah.
And
Mic
it fits
drop.
right in the timeline, right? Like right around the Saw time and right around Hostel, you get Passion of the Christ.
Right. But his influence is more from the Emmerich writings and not so much from the Saw movie. Like,
no, of
her,
course. I'm just
her
yeah,
writings
I
were
know,
about the, watching the flogging. Like, she was present, given that gift to be there.
I know.
So her writings, that movie was based on her writings. Whether she was full of it or not, I don't know. But original writings say that he was beaten so unrecognizable that even his peers wouldn't know who he was. So, and you can count on my bones. That's in the Bible. So it's like, so was he overindulgent or was he taking from accounts? Like, yeah, it's very Saul-esque, but that scene, if you read it,
I'm not saying
no, you're right,
that Mel Gibson took his inspiration from Saul.
No, he is.
No,
Dan
no. No, what I'm saying
it's the same time period.
It is definitely, it was in the zeitgeist at the time that we were all doing torture, and it's just convenient that that's exactly when Mel Gibson chose to do the Texas Jesus Massacre, or whatever they called it at the time. The Jesus Chain Saw Massacre? I forget. There was some...
yeah.
The Gospel according to Matthew?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. Definitely in your face, as is this movie.
It's a Saw movie.
It's a Saw movie with Jesus.
Based on a true story.
Did they really say in the Bible that he was beaten beyond recognition? Like, is that in one of the...
I believe that is in one of the passages.
Because that's a hell of an out if you're trying to, like, figure out how they pulled off the resurrection.
Dan, I thought the exact same
Right.
thing, and I was like, well, how do you know they just didn't replace him with a double?
It was a deep fake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, dude, they're still doing it today. I mean, doesn't I don't
know.
Kim Jong-un have
I'm
17 lookalikes?
As Michael Caine's character in an unnamed movie that I hope we watch someday says, he probably uses a double. I don't know why he's Bane in my impression of Michael Caine.
Uses a double.
Probably uses a double.
He uses the night.
A tangerine. I don't have a Michael Caine.
A tangerine. Ah, man. Yeah.
There's
not many Michael Caine movies we could watch. I'm kidding.
Blame it on Rio.
I was going to say, what are you talking about? I love Michael Caine. Are you nuts?
He's done like 900 movies.
We could probably watch anything
this
he
year.
did, and I would be happy.
Him and Gene Hackman have made every movie made.
And yet we still haven't watched The Conversation yet. Hopefully
The Conversation.
That's a Gene Hackman movie I really like.
I believe that was referenced for a movie we just watched.
It has come up on the show before.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm sure.
It all connects. It's all movies. We're talking movies, so a lot of movies connect to other movies, it turns out.
Yes.
Life is movies, guys.
I want to figure out how to tie Michael Caine into like a Demolition movie. Demolition Man. We should do like 6 degrees of Michael Caine. 6 degrees of Michael Caine. Do a whole season.
Is it 6 or 7?
I think it's 6.
It's supposed to be 6 degrees. And you can usually get less than that.
With Kevin Bacon, definitely.
So if my wife's friend, or if my wife went to school with Kevin Bacon's cousin, then how many degrees am I away from Kevin Bacon?
2. Your wife? 3.
I'm 3.
No.
My wife is 2.
It would be 4 because it would be your wife and you. That's 1.
Yep.
And then the person,
her
cousin,
friend is the cousin.
Okay, so that's 2. And then that person went to school with Kevin Bacon's son?
No. My wife's friend is Kevin Bacon's cousin.
So that's 4 because Kevin Bacon. So it'll be 3 people to Kevin Bacon.
Oh, there you go.
That's not bad.
That's pretty close.
That is pretty close.
I'm closer to Kevin Bacon than some actors.
Yeah.
Right?
Get him on the show. I'm 2 degrees away from Leah Thompson. I'm trying to get her.
Please get her. And also please get him. Because he's a talented musician.
Kevin Bacon. God. You guys would talk for hours with him and not even talk about Friday 13th.
Probably.
Yeah.
Oh, we would definitely.
No, you guys
definitely
would talk
about
guitars all the time. He's
Yeah.
in a
No, we
band.
just talk about music the whole time. And then we'd be like, oh, yeah, you were in movies. Thanks for that. Bye.
Bye. I pretty much love every Kevin Bacon movie, so I think that would be a very long episode.
that.
Even the bad ones.
I haven't seen a bad one yet.
Oh, we'll watch one here pretty soon. It's in the
Except
top
for
of the
Friday
pile.
the 13th.
Is it? Trying to think.
But
Don't
anyway,
text me that.
speaking
What
of,
are we watching
like-
yeah,
next week?
speaking
me
of
what
what
we're
we're
watching
watching
next.
next week, Travis, do you want to go ahead and
What
tell?
was decided on there, Jim?
Oh, we're gonna stick in the early 2000s with a movie,
With the movie.
which I've never seen. I've not seen this movie, so I hope you picked a good movie for us, Travis.
Is this the one that I mentioned a couple with D'Onofrio?
Yeah,
Okay. Yes. Okay. This week. Are we at this point?
yeah, we're here.
Okay.
Yeah,
We're
we've
here.
been recording for 58 minutes. Yeah,
Nice.
let's do it.
Well, we're gonna cut out all that Jessica Biel stuff.
You think?
All right, so we've been recording for 56 minutes.
Are we going to put in a dinner scene
oh,
to make up the time? We should put in the dinner scene.
Sure.
I'll play at least 3 parts. You can play Grandpa. Okay. So next week. Oh God. Now there's pressure.
What?
Dan hasn't seen it.
There's no pressure.
I don't want another Fish Call Wanda moment.
Oh, but
What's the Fish Call
I
Wanda
do.
moment? Oh,
Where I could have sworn he was gonna like it because it had John Cleese and
dude, just
was
assume.
Oscar
Just
award
assume
winning.
Dan's not gonna
all
like
right,
it.
Dan, you're not gonna like that.
we
Oh,
can skip
also-
it if you want to. I mean,
No,
the
I don't
movie
wanna skip
after
it.
it's gonna be just as good. So
I think it fits in with what we're doing. Definitely.
Did you guys know that a guy literally died laughing in the theater watching A Fish Called Wanda?
what?
Did you know that? Google that.
So he died
think
of
it
bad
was-
taste, is what we're hearing.
He was
No,
laughing
he died
so
of awesome.
hard, his heart started to race, and he died.
Is that when the dog?
I
when the
believe it was
safe
in
fell on the dog?
Australia or some other foreign country. I don't know.
Asshole. See, you know you like this movie.
It's a good movie.
I like it
It's
only
good,
because
it's
for the
good.
past 6 months you've been doing that, and now I like it because you do it. I might like the movie more now because of the bits you've done from the movie.
What's funny is, have you screamed asshole yet when you're driving?
Absolutely.
You
I have
have
not.
to.
Absolutely.
You
I
have
just
to. Or
really-
when you're walking.
I
You
still,
bump
my
into
favorite part
somebody,
of
you
that
said?
movie is John Cleese screaming when he finds the girl or his wife shows up or what. I don't even remember the scene now.
Yes,
That scene was my favorite part of the movie.
where he thinks she sees her and she opens the door and she's
Oh.
not there and he screams. Or no, when he comes in, he thinks and it's his wife and not her.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Is
his
that when he
wife
screams?
sitting exactly where.
Wanda was,
Yeah.
and he screams. But then she opens something that he thought she was in, and he screams again. I do
Yes.
like that scene.
It was like the
I
I
think
don't
we
know.
just lost Dan when the stuttering happened, and that was it, because that's a big gag. in
No,
movie.
the opening bit, the whole opening scene, I was just like, I'm not getting the energy of any of these characters.
It was the bad music in the
What was
The
beginning.
brother's
music was
name?
awful. Oh my
Otto?
god, the music.
Otto. Dude, Otto was so good.
Don't
From
look
the
at his
first
dick is
second,
hilarious. That's a
That's his
funny
dick.
line.
From the first second he was on the screen. Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't know. I did like Don't Look at His Dick. That was funny.
The scene when they're planning the heist, right? And he's and what's his name is like stuttering.
He's
Yeah,
looking at
Ken,
him like,
Ken
"Are you
is
fucking
stuttering
serious
and
with
he's
this?"
looking at him and he's like he's like
Spit it
with this look of like waiting with like bated breath of what's gonna happen.
and then
like,
looking
what's
at-
gonna
looking at
actually
everybody
come
in the
out when
room
he
like,
finally
this
gets
guy's
the
on
word
the
out?
team. That's what the look was. This guy's on the
Mhm.
team. Like
Yeah.
he can't even say the.
He breaks in that that scene too. He
I
turns
love that
away. You can tell he's breaking character. But anyway, what are we watching next
Don't
week?
touch his dick. Yeah, so this should be interesting. We're gonna watch a movie
Mm-hmm.
called The Cell.
The Cell.
The Cell.
Is it about spreadsheets?
It's not SELL. It's not Glengarry Glen Ross.
No, I thought it
Okay.
was about CELLs.
CELL.
That's why I asked
The
if it was
Cell.
about spreadsheets.
No.
No.
It's not Excel.
The Cell.
The Cell. Do you know anything about it? Who's in it? Do you want to know who's in it?
That guy you just mentioned, D'Onofrio.
Yeah, but you don't know who he is.
No, you're right. I don't.
That's why I said that.
No, I don't.
Okay. Well, it's been a while since I've seen it.
Does it take place in like a jail cell? Or is it like a cell, like a group of people? Like a cell in a organization?
Is this going to be another 12 Monkeys?
Country?
That's really what I'm worried about. From everything I know.
That's what Travis is worried about.
I'm worried about that because I think you were unfair with that as well. But
I tried to be
I understand
fair.
why you didn't like it, but I after all the shit you made us watch, I never thought it was the kind of movie that you would turn off and not.
Yeah, he
watch.
thought your standards were so low.
Yeah,
that you had to love
after
12
watching
Monkeys.
Phenomena.
I am a complex individual.
That 12 Monkeys would make the cut. He's like, oh, Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 is awesome.
Garbage.
It is.
Day.
Garbage day.
The eyebrows are worth the price of admission.
I mean, we watched. You watched that Santa Claus movie a couple times. You own it in 4K.
Punish.
I figured,
oh, the other one, the
12
Happy
Monkeys was
Birthday
safe.
Christmas. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah. He's got like
I don't know.
the Hansel and Gretel animated series on Blue K, 4K
On
Blu-ray.
Blue K?
Blu-K,
4K, 4Ray.
You're gonna cut that out, I hope.
No.
Holy
No,
shit.
no, no,
Blue
no,
K
no.
It's late.
Foray is our new podcast, actually. It's all about physical media.
Blue K 4Ray. I love it. I'm putting that on a t-shirt.
Oh, my God.
Blue K 4Ray.
You know what I watched last weekend while I was doing laundry? Wayne's World and Clerks. It was like a season 1 revival. It was delightful.
Well, we're coming up on our anniversary. So, October. 2
Yeah.
years.
2 years this October.
Are you going to get me a gun rack?
A gun rack? Cha.
If you're not careful, Travis, you're going to lose me.
Highway.
Shout out to Aaron, who watched Wayne's World for the first time ever this week that we're recording. Because I've been bugging him for a year and a half to watch it. And he was pointing out...
Does he have an interface?
He was pointing out that... I'm sure he does. He was pointing out that they probably should have canceled the movie for the joke about the African American Digest being on very late. And I didn't miss a beat in our chat. I was like, it won several awards. Because I've memorized every line in that stupid movie.
Oh, man.
But you have to say it earnestly, like the helper guy.
Right.
Oh, everybody's kung fu fighting.
Ooh. Yeah.
Yikes.
They get a pass.
Such a good
Just
movie.
like Airplane gets a pass.
The kids were playing basketball the other day in the street.
My kids?
No,
Oh.
just the neighborhood kids, and
Right.
car came, and the car went, and I was like, game on.
They're like looking at
And there was like one other dad that was like, yeah, game on. That was funny.
Thank you for joining us on the Remedial Film Class podcast. We'll be back next week with the early 2000s classic, The Cell. Oh my God, the art looks so bad. I hope I don't hate it. Hey, but in the meantime, hit us up at facebook.com/remedialfilmpod, or hit us up on Twitter, or hit us up on Instagram, because all you can do right now is hit us up, and that's at Remedial Film Pod. See you next week.
I saw one of the train conductors today. He always has like a funny mask on. Like something that's like not just like the stupid surgical mask. And he had a red mask with yellow writing. And it said Stephen King rules. And I was like, dude, you're wearing a Monster Squad mask. And he's like, yes, I am.
Nice.
And we had a moment.
I showed my kids Monster Squad a couple of years ago. They were
It does not hold up.
They were lukewarm on that movie, man.
Yeah. It doesn't hold up. It's very 80s vulgar. And this story's very 80s.
That's Wolfman's Got Nards, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
They were like,
I
this
love that
movie is
movie.
not that funny. I'm like, well, I tried. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, I love that movie, but it's definitely dated. It has not aged well, but the effects, I just love it. Very nostalgic.
Now, guys, speaking of nostalgia, this week on Twitter, I was harassing Brad Henderson, who works for Vinegar Syndrome. He's one of the guys who helped us bring New York Ninja to the world. So we
Friend
all
of the show.
owe him a debt of gratitude. I was listening to him on the Disconnected podcast. Disconnected. You have to really say that first C or it all runs together. Disconnected podcast. It's all about physical media. It's run by a guy out of Kansas City, so that's pretty cool. Anyway, he was on the podcast and he mentioned Three Ninjas kind of in passing. And my ass jumped on that and said, dude, we need 4K UHD special edition Three Ninjas. And he kind of LOL'd me to make me go away. And then other people started jumping in and I started mentioning what, great seller it would be. So listeners, Vinegar Syndrome, hit them up. We need Three Ninjas, 4K UHD. Yeah. Also, we need that weird French Christmas movie that Home Alone ripped off. We need them to do that because no one else would. Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen Three Ninjas.
Oh,
what?
Wait a minute.
It's terrible.
What?
You should definitely watch it.
Is it terrible?
Yes, dude.
I don't know. Let's wait till he sees it. Oh my God, I didn't know that Travis hadn't seen it.
Generation, so it's like by the time that came out, I was
this whole time I've been so sad that George has seen it because that's a movie I would definitely want to talk about, and now I know we can. Oh, it's like Christmas, guys. You just lit up my eyes, boys.
I've seen it. I've seen it 3 times.
How many times did he fall on the hook? 3 times.
What's funny is that there's a deleted scene where they bury him in a hole in the backyard.
And does he come out of it on Sunday morning?
It's
oh
possible.
My God. So years ago, I was living in small town USA, and the church across the street from my office had the little, the little placard signs that you can use a stick with a sticky thing on it and put the letters up, like old fashioned kind of.
A marquee.
A marquee.
Your move, creep.
And they wrote, it was around Easter time. They wrote, "He is risen, ... which is fine because it's a church and stuff. But at the exact moment that they put up that sign on the marquee, there was a truck laying fiber optic cable through their yard. So directly behind the sign was just a trench dug by a ditch witch and a large roll of fiber optic cable. So I might have posted that picture to Facebook, and then my little subs caption was, "And he had help."
Wow.
So I'm going to hell.
Hey, that's how Jason came about. So
that's true.
Zombie Jason.
It's true.
Frankenstein.
You just need to be struck by lightning.
Or have an anchor drag across a buried cable.
Through a lake that has access to the ocean.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And Camp Crystal Lake that's got a sign that says Crystal Camp Lake. Or whatever the misspelled sign was. Oh, God, that movie.